Kecha biomass ngesiswati umbitangani isikhulu. Biomass ngesiswati umbitangani. Asinivusele maswahla amahle lomhla ekseni sikanekiseke eRoyal Villa eZulwini lapho khona ke umsakazo Eswatini TV uhlanganyeleke nelibandla lelibukeke indzaba demandla Eswatini Eswatini Regulatory Authority yathi wakhuleka ukuthi ke nguESERA le hulumende welive la kaNgwane alibeke ukuthi ke alikhulumise kusimamisa tindzaba demandla ekhaya Eswatini ikakhulukati ke tindzaba dabogesi lelibandla ke namuhla amaswahla amahle lisukumisa ke ngalokho semthethweni ke umsebenzi lotwa ukuthi ke yi-biomass launch lapho khona ke lithi ke liphehla ke noma ke litawusukumisa umsebenzi lapho khona ke kutabe kubukwe ke tindlela tekuphehla ke gesi ngetindlela letehlukile leti khicita ke 40 megawatts ngekusebenzisa ke lokungabe kumbe ngesikwakhona kuyalahlwa lokufaka ekhathi ke kungaba dihlahla kungaba ke ngumoba noma kumbe ngaba ngiletinye nje tinto lokufaka ekhathi ke tibi letitsite lelibandla lihlose ke benkosi lenhle lokuthi ke lelekelele live ikakhulukati ekutheni ke lisimame kutoke tindzaba tagesi njengoba ke sathi ukuthi cishe ke lokungemashumi ke lasiphohlongo lokungemashumi ke lasiphohlongo ekhulwini 80% lokungugesi noma ke lokungemandla leswasebenzisako ekhaya Eswatini sikulanza ngaphandle kwale live la kaNgwane inhloso yalomsebenzi kusimamisa ke ukuthi live la kaNgwane linga lanzi kakhulu egesi noma kumbe emandla kumakhelwane bethu ngekusebenzisa ke letinye ke tindlela cishe ngindawuse ke sigaba sesibili lesisukunyiswa ke ngiyo ke Eswatini Regulatory Authority kuto ke tindzaba ukuthi ke liqinise ke tinhlelo ukuthi live lakithi ke libe nemandla la enele ekhaya Eswatini njengoba like lasukumisa ke nemsebenzi wokuphehla ke gesi ngalo ke lilanga danawo lotawafaka ke kusola ku electricity grid yelive la kaNgwane 40 megawatts of power nalona ke lesisukumisa namuhla lo biomass launch usukumiswa ke nawo ukuthi awufaka ke 40 megawatts into the electricity grid of the Kingdom of Eswatini letinye ke tinto letibukiwe ukuthi ke kuvulwe ke emathuba emisebenzi langabalelwa ke etinkulungwaneni letimbili 2000 employment opportunities latawuta nalomsebenzi wayo le biomass launch losukunyiswako ke namuhla la kuphindwe ke kubuka netindlela tekuthi itaba encane ke imali lephumako ke ekhaya Eswatini iyothenga ngaphandle ke emandla noma ke ithenga gesi njengoba ke mase semkhicida khona ke la ngekhaya Eswatini kutaba imali ke seyikhona ukuthi isebenze ngekhathi ekhaya Eswatini lotawuthula le umsebenzi ngalokho semthethweni yindvuna ke yelitiko ke letemandla letiko letemcebo waphasi nemandla umhlonishwa Peter Bembe kanti ke ukhona ke Chief Executive Officer wayo ke Eswatini Energy Regulatory Authority ngoba bevusi muzi wakamkhumane lotawukhona nanaye kusichazela mase uthukulwe lo msebenzi ukuthi ngabe vele kubukweni as a broader plan of the Eswatini energy policy in terms of lokuthi live vele mbambamba litawuze ligcina litimele nini ekutheni emandla noma gesi lingasamlanzi sanhlobo omakhelwane bethu engathi ke leso strategy leso sikhulumisa ke i-master plan ya up to the year 2034 lapho khona ke sidabe sesibukela ukuthi kumbe sidabe sesiuhambile ke umgamo kodwa kulesikhathanyana ngidawuthanda ukukhulumisa ke lobukeke tindzaba noma lokungahlala esangweni wayo ke iEswatini Energy Regulatory Authority ngusikhumbuzo wakaNkambulu utasichazela nje kabanti ngalomsebenzi asinikete ke sithombe nokuthi bobani imbambamba lababukela ukuthi batawuphehla lo gesi ngaletindlela leti kungazuza bobani nokuthi ngabe vele ticelo setivele ke fakiwe noma kumbe sekuvele kume kanjani ukuthi ke lo msebenzi so ungavele ke uqale utasichazela Nkambule la umsebenzi ke ngekhathi utawuqala ke ukuthi mathudane Nkambule yankubingelele nayethu ngikunike nje ithuba lokuthi uvusele maswati
ngivusele Pires ngivusele nebabukele emakhaya nasemisebenzini
sikhuluma silumbi la namnethu Eswatini Energy Regulatory Authority ilauncha umsebenzi noma yethula ngalokho semthethweni esiveni umsebenzi lowatwa ukuthi ke i-biomass launch ungasichazela nje kafishane ukuthi in a nutshell kusho ukuthini lesikwenda namuhla.
Thanks, Pires. Basically, this is a journey that started in 2018 when the Minister, I would say, empowered ESERA through the Electricity Act, Section 25, which empowers ESERA to procure new capacity for the country in collaboration with the minister. From that journey, we started a tranche, as you have mentioned earlier on, that this is a second tranche. We started launching the solar 40 megawatts tender, which is under review. It's at a request for RFP stage at this moment, of which we should be concluding, say, in the next 2-3 months or so. Basically, this launch for today it's an opportunity for anyone with interest in participating in biomass technology or biomass generation to probably get an opportunity to ask questions that they may have had having gone through the tender document that was issued 2-3 weeks ago. Basically, we issued the tender through the website, our website, ESERA, as well as the SPRA websites. That's where the tender documents are found. But we said, let's create this opportunity for anyone that may have browsed through the document and encountered a few questions that they need clarity on, so that they can get the clarity on an open discussion, so to say. Unfortunately, we could have, like we did with solar, where we had an open launch, a physical meeting. Our times have changed. We had to go a virtual route, but at least at the end of the day, give everyone an opportunity to ask those questions and interact and probably just digest anything that they might have encountered or seen on the document.
There could be several forms of options we may have in terms of technologies that we could use to create capacity in our energy sector. But why has biomass and solar in particular have become priorities at this short-term stage, if I may say?
Thank you, Perez. Basically, to viewers at home, we are saying as a country we have prioritized 2 projects, 2 technologies in the short term. Our short term is focusing 5 years, and those projects are solar and biomass. Why those 2? One of the things that we looked into when we developed the master plan, we looked at technologies that could be affordable, least cost technologies in terms of setting up the plants and eventually the tariff that will come out of those projects. So in our modeling, our analysis, it came out that actually solar, the sun is a natural resource that is always available and we can rely on during the day, and it can help us with technology and solar becoming more efficient by the day. We can actually use that as a starting point. So we started with solar and we targeted 40 megawatts. Probably one would say, why 40 megawatts? Why not go for a capacity that will cover the demand for the country? We will recall that solar is just dependent on availability of the sun, unless you've got a storage, which is battery. Unfortunately, the more you add, when you add battery, the cost of the project will increase, and eventually the tariff will be a bit higher, which you would not afford. So we're saying we're going to target solar in the short term and make sure that during the day we've got sufficient power to keep the businesses, operations running, in fact feeding onto the grid, so that there is less that we need to import generally as a country. Then why move into biomass? We're saying biomass is going to give us an option for base load, because biomass will allow us to have power 24/7. So unlike solar, which is dependent on the sun, hence we prioritize the 2 technologies based on costs, and as well as gradually reducing our imports of electricity, which will help the country in terms of circulating more money locally, which will eventually result in job creation.
Yeah, and 40 megawatts of biomass and 40 megawatts of solar. What is the impact this is likely to have on the capacity on our current grid?
Okay, basically these two projects is combined. Probably there's also other 2-3 projects that we are hoping they will kick off at some point. There is height regeneration by Loma Kotuza. There's also a 10 megawatt plant of solar that is being developed by Eswatini Electricity Company in Lavumisa. Combined, those projects are likely to give us about 60% of what we need as a country, of which that's quite a lot. And if you consider the fact that we are gradually eliminating or reducing our imports, it means gradually we're going to be able to pick up the economy by having cash circulating locally.
Yeah, and is this likely to have an impact on the tariffs?
Well, that's a good question if you consider the fact that we are now having a few more plants generating power locally. But to take you back, I would say as a country, as you have mentioned earlier on, you said we are importing about 80% of our power, and that's quite a lot. And our objective is to ensure that we reduce that number. As things stand, because we are importing and we take the price that the seller gives us, we're just a price taker as a country, we find ourselves limited to what the seller charges us. So when we start producing locally, what will happen is we will have gradually be gaining control of factors that affect price determination of electricity, because they will be a bit more local than the current status is.
Skhumbuzo, thank you so much, my brother. The event is about to start. Masota Mahle se Royal Villa ezulwini lapho khona ke umsebenzi welibandla le Eswatini Energy Regulatory Authority lethula ke kukhicitwa ke kwagesi ngetindlela letehlukile njengoba sekasichazele enkambule la kubo indlela tekhichita ke gesi ngelanga lesekuvele ke kusesigabeni lapho khona uthi ngetinyanga nje letinzathu kutabe ke secishe ke kufika ekugcineni kwatiwe ukuthi bobani labo labaneketwa ke leyo misebenzi leyo namuhla ke kusukunyiswa ke lenye ke indlela nanayo letawu phehla ke gesi ngetindlela letehlukahlukile kungaba ke ngemandla latawusetshenziswa ngokuthi kugaywe ke tihlahla lebetitawulahlwa noma leto timphuphu noma leto tibi lebetikade titawulahlwa manengela uma opportunities ama stakeholders afaka ekhathi ke labakhicita ke labalima ke tilimo ke letithite lokufaka ekhathi ke umoba etihlahla kunetinkampani ke letinkulu ekhaya ke Eswatini letatiwako ke lokuthi tiyakhicita ke kuleso sigaba leso nekuthi ke emandla vele kumbe bekathe ke ashota ke njengoba ke sathi lokuthi kwanyalo nje sinema agreements lafaka ekhathi ke a 25-year agreement with Eskom in the Republic of South Africa lapho khona ke live linesivumelwano sekuthi ke litawuthenga ke gesi limbuyise ke ekhaya ke Eswatini njengoba lesikhicitela kona ke kulesikhathi samanje. It is only 20% of our solar grid, and then the 80% comes from the Republic of South Africa. It is so interesting to find out that the 40 megawatts of solar and the 40 megawatts of biomass is actually going to contribute 60% towards our solar grid. Uyaqala ke umsebenzi ngekhathi Masota Mahle sibona ukuthi kuqhubeka kanjani.
Following us, we want to greet you all. My name is Skhumbuzo Ngambule from Eswatini Energy Regulatory Authority. I am here basically to introduce the Emcee for the day who will guide us through the program. Our program is intended to be very brief to ensure that we don't keep you here for too long. You will note that this event could have taken place some time back, but we couldn't have it in the normal way, say in the more physical way where everyone is allowed to participate. But we're happy to know that there are already participants that took advantage of the opportunity to join us virtually, and we really appreciate that. My role is very brief, as I've said. I will like at this time to introduce the Emcee for the day, Mr. Vusumuzi Mkumane, as he come up front, who will then coordinate the event. But probably one thing that we would like to highlight is the fact that as soon as the minister has delivered his speech, we will open an opportunity for a few questions from the House as well as from the virtual participants, so that we can all be able to digest what would have been delivered. Mr. Mkumane, may I call you up front at this moment? Thank you.
Honorable Minister for Natural Resources and Energy, Principal Secretary, Minister of Natural Resources and Energy, Chairman of the Board at ESERA, Ministry officials, ESERA colleagues, media fraternity, and ladies and gentlemen. First and foremost, Honorable Minister, I would like to thank you for honoring this event which basically indicates the importance of the event to you and also to the country being the leadership in the energy space of the country. And I would also like to welcome every one of you, wherever you are in this world, to witness the event for today. Honorable Minister, we are delighted and honored, as I've said earlier. This is an important event in terms of the country moving a step in the right direction in terms of energy security, energy sufficiency, and of course complying with the UN development goals of officially increasing the modern energy resources to everyone, meaning universal electrification of the country. That being the case, we are all aware this issue of energy sufficiency is a critical element in the socio-economic development of the country, because any development is based on available and efficient energy to make sure that businesses can thrive. Honorable Minister, I don't want to take long. We know you have a busy schedule, and also in view of the participants all over and the cost implications for witnessing this event live, digitally, comes at a cost. And with that, Honorable Minister, we are welcoming you with open hands, and we also believe the job that we are doing is as delegated by yourself, and therefore we are going to do our best to ensure it is carried out as efficiently as possible. At this juncture, I would request the Principal Secretary in the Ministry to come forward and introduce the Honorable Minister. Thank you.
Thank you, Program Director. Honorable Minister of Natural Resources and Energy, Senator Mr. Peter Bembe, Chairman of ESERA, Mr. Smelane, CEO of ESERA, Mr. Mkumane, Ministry officials, government representatives present here, respectable viewers, both locally and afar. We welcome you all this morning. To the Honorable Minister, I would like to say, Nduna Yenkosi, we are very much grateful for this second milestone, Honorable Minister. The first milestone that you launched, it was on 40 megawatts solar power. And the second milestone, Honorable Minister, which is being launched today, is on 40 megawatts biomass. This is a great achievement, Honorable Minister. When we look at the post-COVID roadmap, which is looking at economic recovery strategy, it really indicates that your ministry is in line, Honorable Minister, to achieve what was previously planned and what was initially planned. That this is the roadmap that we are going to undertake in order for the Kingdom of Eswatini to be on the map, Honorable Minister, as far as no more depending on our neighbors as far as energy is concerned. So that's why, Honorable Minister, I'm saying this is a remarkable day for both the Ministry of Natural Resources and Energy, for ESERA, as well as the Kingdom of Eswatini. Thank you very much, Honorable Minister. With these few remarks, may I humbly and respectfully request for your remarks, Honorable Minister, to the locals in the Kingdom of Eswatini and those that are viewing from afar, Honorable Minister. They will not forget this milestone, Honorable Minister, this indelible mark that you are going to present this morning. It will remain at the back of our hearts and our minds for the Kingdom of Eswatini to achieve these great milestones. Honorable Minister, please.
Good morning again, and good morning to everybody, even those that are watching from the digital platform. The Principal Secretary of the Ministry of Natural Resources and Energy, ESERA Board and Board Chair, officials from the Ministry, ESERA management and staff, representatives from the Fourth Estate, and all key stakeholders joining us virtually to be in this launch for today. I greet you all. It is indeed a great pleasure for me to again launch this second tranche of power generation in the country of Eswatini. We are very, very grateful as a ministry that we have reached this point. As we do this, we are doing it through the recognized competitive tendering process. First of all, I would like to take this opportunity to thank you and appreciate the Eswatini Regulatory Authority, the Ministry of Natural Resources, and all the key sector stakeholders who have worked tirelessly to ensure that this event happens, and further ensuring that we are all in compliance with COVID-19 regulations with regards to the numbers gathering, as well as ensuring social distancing. To our distinguished guests from the various sectors that have joined us virtually, we are very humbled, and we hope your efforts in ensuring that you participate in this launch will be worthwhile. Let me come to the subject matter for the day. Today, we are gathered here to discuss the launch of the second tranche of the new competitive power generation capacity process, should I say procurement process, that was launched by ESERA in conjunction with the ministry as required by Section 25 of our Electricity Act of 2007. You will recall that the announcement on the 25th of July 2018, and in accordance with Section 25 of the Electricity Act of 2007, an energy policy on competitive tendering for generation capacity for Eswatini was launched. The Ministry of Natural Resources and Energy, guided by the country's Energy Master Plan, then issued a short-term generation expansion plan to accelerate the procurement of projects highlighted in the master plan. The short-term generation expansion plan identified 2 projects, namely 40 megawatts of solar photovoltaic and a 40 megawatt biomass, also known as the first tranche procurement and second tranche procurement, respectively. The procurement of the first tranche is at request for proposal stage with a bid submission deadline in September this year, and is undertaken by the Eswatini Energy Regulatory Authority as per the same section, Electricity Act. ESERA has started the procurement of the second tranche project totaling 40 megawatt biomass plants and has prepared requests for qualifications, documents, which were issued on the Eswatini Public Procurement Regulatory Agency and the ESERA website. The allowed biomass feedstock is not limited to the following. Let me just mention a few. You can look at the forestry waste and byproducts, agricultural waste and byproducts, crops grown specifically for energy production, municipal solid waste, biosolids, and animal waste, just to name a few. The competitive procurement process is part of the implementation of our government's policy on increasing the country's energy resilience by reducing our reliance on imported energy and on encouraging the development of local electricity generation, and in particular, the development of local renewable energy projects. This will help us to meet our environmentally clean energy objectives and will also help underpin economic growth. You may all recall that in the past, ESERA has licensed several IPPs for various generation projects, most of which did not materialize for various reasons. These were all unsolicited projects which were evaluated as standalone projects with no comparative similar projects, especially in terms of tariff levels. This competitive tendering approach seeks to align our power procurement process to the Electricity Act of 2007, as well as address some of the challenges that existed with unsolicited bidding procurement. Under this new policy, all private generation capacity will now be procured under public competitive tendering process based on regional and international practices. As per the Section 25 of the Electricity Act of 2007, all generation capacity in Eswatini will be procured through competitive tendering process currently conducted by Eswatini Regulatory Authority. Interested developers and feedstock suppliers are therefore encouraged to participate in the competitive tendering process for the development of the biomass power plants. I would like to conclude my short brief by emphasizing and reminding you all that the Kingdom of Eswatini has recently launched a post-COVID economic recovery plan for the country. With the energy being a key driver of economic growth, it is important that as a country, we will be able to meet most of our electricity demand from our own resources so we can revive the economy. Having mentioned earlier that the authority's efforts to license prospective IPPs through unsolicited approach has yielded very unsustainable results. We have witnessed encouraging results in a case like in South Africa, where electricity tariffs from projects procured competitively have dropped significantly over the years. It goes without saying that, indeed, the competitive approach to procurement of all power projects for a country is and will remain the way to go. For the sector to fully play its role in economic development, the competitive approach has evidence that it can yield the desired positive long-term results. I would like to thank you again for attending this important event here and afar, and for engaging with our initiative. I can assure you that my team will always be available either during or after the launch to answer any questions or input that any of you might have. I encourage you all to make the most of the opportunities that the new policy offers, both for Eswatini electricity sector and for the country as a whole. My duty today is that of announcing that the second tranche procurement of the 40 megawatt biomass project is officially launched. May I thank you this morning.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you, Honorable Minister, for the enlightening and inciting talk. I have no words to thank the wisdom of the talk that we've just had. And to us, it's an encouraging moment in terms of executing the task at hand. We know it is a difficult task and it's got so many lows and highs, but we will endeavor, Honorable Minister, to ensure that we deliver as per your expectation, being the principle of the Eswatini Energy Master Plan, which in essence is supposed to take us from where we are to the next level of our economic development. We had requested, Honorable Minister, that maybe there could be some one or two burning questions that would the audience would like to have to you, to put to you, maybe locally or digitally. So at this juncture, we will allocate about a few minutes, and I would request my team to provide the mic to the minister so that it doesn't have to be coming up to the stage. So can we provide the mic to the Honorable Minister? Where is the mic? Okay, at this juncture, we are ready for those 2-3 burning questions from the floor and 2 or so from the digital platform. May I request that as you pose the question, you introduce yourself and the media that you are from, so that we are aware who is here and so on and so forth. Gentleman of Mr. Lushaba, please.
Thank you, Honorable Minister, for the launch. My name is Alec Lushaba, editor, Eswatini Observer. I think from your presentation, Minister, you are very clear in terms of the process that is going to be followed when procuring or when receiving the bids for the biomass energy generation. Listening carefully as well, the speech is very clear in terms of the competitive tendering process that is going to be followed. But when you read the post-COVID economic recovery plan, there are sentiments there that are being expressed by business, which are saying they are sort of not happy or not supportive of the competitive bidding process. What is the ministry now and the regulator going to do to ensure that we don't have that, we don't differ too much in terms of how the process is going to go? Because we may find that others are going to point you to the economic recovery strategy to say, we are saying this, and the regulator saying, but we are still in charge, we are going to do this thing this way. As we have indicated that this is law. This is not just the ministry thinking, it's the law. Section 25 of the Electricity Act indicates clearly how this process is supposed to go. But business is saying otherwise. What are we going to do to ensure that we harmonize those differences and ensure that this process also becomes successful as the first one?
Thank you, Mr. Lushaba. Let's have another one so that the minister can do one response. Yes, Mr. Dlamini.
Sikusele, Honorable Minister, and everyone present. My name is Welcome Dlamini. I'm from the Times of Eswatini. I've got just one question. In terms of the Disaster Management Act, the Prime Minister has powers to sort of dictate what needs to be done, which can mean, or which could mean, he could order that the competitive bidding be overridden or overstepped in preference of a particular company to implement or to embark upon an energy project. How is ESERA and the ministry, or has the ministry and ESERA engaged with cabinet in terms of respecting the competitive bidding process as opposed to the Prime Minister enforcing his powers as per the National Disaster Management Act of appointing or dictating which company can embark on an energy project or any other project? Thank you.
Thank you for that. At this juncture, can I invite the digital platform participants to indicate if there are any comments or questions that they would like to raise so that we can address them accordingly. Probably by this time, the Honorable Minister will be putting a response to the questions that we have already had. Thank you. Thank you, Honorable Minister. From the digital platform, there seems to be one hand. School, can you access?
Ask him on the virtual. Mr. Skwane, please unmute yourself, then you can speak.
Yes, good morning. Thank you very much. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Honorable Minister and the CEO and the board of ESERA. It would be interesting for us as business what were the failures for the previous project, because we appreciate the challenges which are there, and we also appreciate the issue